utilize some funding towards sanitation and their needs. And I was told that they would be able to give annual funding to sanitation. And sanitation has been claiming that the reason why they haven't been able to stay on top of certain areas in the neighborhood is due to the fact that they don't have enough manpower. They don't have enough funding. And this would definitely make a difference in that regard. So I was told to get all of the areas that need attention, the locations over to her office. And if they fall within her district, that she would um, communicate with sanitation and see how much funding it would take in order to address those issues. Um, that's definitely more than I've heard over the last year of trying to work on these issues. And it apparently um, took, one of the last community board meetings that we had where I sat there and I mentioned her office directly and the lack of communication that I was receiving from them. Um, and she didn't like that very much. But what it did was it put her in a position to connect with me and work on the issue. So my plan going forward is to contact the other offices that are taking care of the other areas in the community and seeing if they also have the ability to allocate any sort of funding towards sanitation so they can also participate in this sort of venture that we're going to be doing. So I definitely want to get as many locations that you guys come across and put them to work, because as I've already stated many times, I wish I had the power to make sanitation do more. I can only speak to them and try to encourage them to address these issues. But it's our elected officials that really have the means to put them in a position to do something. And now that I've called them out, now they're doing it. I don't know why it took for me to have to essentially call her out to take this initiative. She's aware of the sanitation issues. This is not new. And I'm not suggesting that she hasn't ever done anything regarding it. But if this was something that she had the means to do, I don't know why it hasn't been done up until now. So that is the report that I have for you guys. Um, does anybody have anything that they would like to say in response to this?
Hazel Martinez. Good evening. Um, I have a couple of comments. Number one, we are all taxpayers in this community, and if they have funding, I see all sorts of things going on in every other community but this one. We don't get our services are lacking in every way. No street cleaning. That is street sweeping is actually something that occurs so infrequently that no one moves their vehicles, and they're now in the habit of just not paying any attention to that. There's night cleaning, or especially like around Harry Mays Park. There's no enforcement, and I see it in every other community. I spend a lot of time outside of this community because there's really nothing here. And I see street cleaning going on. I see them street sweeping. I mean, granted, the residents of other communities seem to be more conscientious about using garbage pails. And, it is just so, and the response, just not from her, because, I mean, granted, she has the ability to give more funding, but what happened to the regular funding that they get funding to clean this place? So why isn't that done? Why that should be for something special? I mean, you go right now. They put some cameras up on Farragut between Utica and Kings Highway. I don't know what was the purpose of that because it is absolutely filthy. And then they had a pan yard there over the summer, and the garbage there alone took more than one truck, I am sure. And there's still the entire strip is filthy. There's even a boat there.
Well, based on what I've been told, and I believe that we all pretty much know, the mayor cut funding towards a lot of different agencies, and sanitation was one of them. And based on that, I believe that they had to redistribute what remaining workforce they had to certain areas. Now, you know, maybe certain areas are prioritized over others, and that might be the main issue or one of the main issues. But a part of it is definitely due to the mayor reducing the funding to certain agencies, based on what I was told. And I've also heard this, prior to hearing this from her office. So that definitely has an impact on that. Um, what is it going to take to address that issue? I think that we're going to have to get all of the council members to address these issues with the mayor. And how do we get them to do that? We have to voice our opinions, and at our board meetings, I think that the tactic that I used that last time where I called out her office, that made a difference. You know, we have to remember that these people have their jobs because of us, and sometimes they have to be reminded of this. And I believe that that's what was done by me in regards to her, and why we have the reaction that we currently do. And I think that that tactic is going to have to be employed regarding the others. And that's right now what I plan to do, because that appeared to have a result. Um, but this is what I think is the best way to do it. Got to definitely call them out to get them to do what they have to do. Um, was there someone else that had a question or one? I see a hand up.
Yes, I wish to
Yeah,
say something.
that, yeah,
Well, I'm sorry, I saw somebody with a hand up.
yeah, that's me, the George
Hi,
State. Yes.
hi, George. How you doing?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yes, actually, before I get started, I will say I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the mayor restored the budget to sanitation when he went back and restored some of the cutbacks. So you may want to look into that to make sure that sanitation is just not playing games. Because when I
Okay.
go in other communities, I could see the streets are clean. Well, I don't see the mess I see around here. Okay, that said, I do have quite a number of places around here that are really disgusting. And yes, as Ms. Martinez said, that strip between, from Utica to Kings Highway and Farragut Road is one of the main one that I had in mind, and that is ridiculous. You can't even walk around here. There, you have to walk in the street, which is another issue because it's a danger with all the trucks and everything around here. So it's not only a sanitation issue; it's also public safety issue. And going following that area, if you go from Fargo to Glenwood Road and Utica Avenue, it's not as bad as there, but it's also bad. It's full of garbage all around there. Yes, and especially after Labor Day, it's been they haven't cleaned up properly. Okay. Another one that I have that's very disturbing is on East 45th Street between Farragut and Glenwood, which is right across from the public school 109. From Labor Day, they dumped a lot of corn, bones, and everything that's been there since Labor Day up to today. I walked by there and it was still there. So they don't clean up. There's a lot of garbage bags across the street from the school, on the opposite side from the school. But you have a bunch of corn husks that I guess they ate. I don't know if it came from a restaurant or from where, but they're all right there waiting for the rats, waiting to eat them, I guess. But they have, you see oxtail bones, you see all kind of bones over there. And I said from Labor Day, it's been there. And I saw them there up to today, among with other stuff. So that's one thing that sanitation should have cleaned up. I don't know if the school is not reporting it. Okay, so those are two main spots that I see, and the same thing goes on Albany Avenue. Albany and Avenue H is always a mess around there, and the smell that goes along. And this goes, I would say, from like I mentioned East 45th, but if I'm talking about from East 42nd all the way to East 46th Street, is in between Farragut and Glenwood is a dumping space for everyone, and it's a mess. One more thing I have is those plants that the trees that they planted. Right now, they don't take care. No one take care of them. It grows right around the community board. If you walk around there, the two near the community board are clear. But if you walk a little further down towards Parkmart, you see everything is overgrown, and in there they're all full of garbage. So people are using it for to dump there because I don't know who's supposed to take care of those tree beds and clean them. But as long as people see them like they're abandoned, they go keep throwing garbage there. And I'm talking about that on Albany, that's all the way to Brooklyn Avenue. It's all or the same thing. So those are a couple of things that I have in mind.
All right.
I'm sorry, yeah, but I didn't have the question. Are you going to be taking note and forwarding this to the council member, or do
So
you want
that's
us to make a list and send it to you?
right. So what I would like you to do, as Ms. Martinez did yesterday, if you could just put that information down, at the very least, the locations that need to be addressed, and you could send it to the email address for the community, for the sanitation committee. I would then be able to just take that and forward it to where I need to send it to. That would be very helpful. And she also added some pictures and even a video. So I was able
Yeah,
to also send that over to Farrah Lewis's office.
yeah, I have pictures, so I'll add pictures to it.
Yeah, that'd be great. And now that we've got these people communicating finally, I think this is going to make a difference. I don't see how they're going to receive this information and just ignore it. Because I think that they've learned that at these board meetings, I'm definitely going to address it, and I don't think that they want me to do that. So I think that
I
we
have
should
something
be
to say.
much better shape. Oh, please do, please do.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Carol Bienvenue. I live on East 54th Street, and my business strip is basically Utica and Church Avenue. That strip is so dirty. So I'm new to this neighborhood, and when I make sure that I visited Farah Lewis office, Darlene Millie's office. I visited Monique Chandler Waterman's office and Zelnor Myrie office. And I also reported the problem to 311. And I was well received, but at first, I that was the first time they were seeing me. They thought that I didn't know what I was talking about. But I was consistent. I went back to the office and spoke to the person responsible for the constituents. Between Farah and Miss Waterman office, they managed to get the street clean. And also I reported many businesses to 311 because I'm Caribbean. I don't mind drinking coconut water, but I don't want it on my sidewalk. I don't want to bring that juicy water into my house. So what I did, I was taking businesses' addresses and reporting them to 311 and having the police come and ticket them and talk to them. Because I am finding out that it's because they feel that the residents don't complain, therefore they can get away with it.
So what?
And
Mhm.
I'm listening.
Now I was just going to ask you, which business are you referring to specifically? Your business?
Um, I don't have business. The business that I'm referring to,
Oh, okay.
and it's so shocking. The business that keep their sidewalks so dirty, they are the banks, the Capital Bank, Chase Bank, Citibank, the post office on Utica. They are these are the people with the money.
So you're basically referring to Utica between, let's say,
Uh,
Snyder and Clarkson?
no. I'm talking about Utica and Church Avenue.
Okay.
Okay, and going probably all the way to Snyder because I'm at East 54. So when I come out, the businesses are on Church Avenue and on Utica, but that strip is so dirty and cars double parks. I've never seen a sanitation officer on Church Avenue until I reported it to Miss Waterman office. And the first time I saw a traffic officer, I almost fell off because I used to live in Park Slope. These people, they're walking throughout the neighborhood all the time. And I've been here for, let me see, for 6 years. I've never seen a traffic officer on Church Avenue or on Utica Avenue. And I'm not gonna name any names. When I visited the council people's office, I sensed that it was my responsibility. It wasn't their job. It was my responsibility to talk to the vendors, to talk to the businesses, to tell them to clean. And I did that. I did that, but at my own peril. I don't think that's my responsibility because I'm a taxpayer. And they're telling me that, oh, it's so busy. I said, let me tell you, I worked for the city for 30 something years. I've covered all the boroughs. I've never seen anything as dirty as this Flatbush. Nothing. So I think the residents are partly responsible. If the community doesn't speak up, if the residents don't speak up, the politicians are going to get away with it. That's what I have to say about that.
Well, I definitely agree, and I appreciate you giving that information. And I just want to encourage everybody to name names. You know, this is, as you said, their responsibility to make sure that the community is clean and it's safe. You know, we're not here to protect them while we have given them this responsibility to do their job. You know, if we don't speak up and name their names, then they're not going to be under any incentive to make sure that they do their job. So it's really important that we name those names. And at our general board meetings, if after trying to communicate with them and discuss these issues and make sure that they handle those issues, that we make it a record that they're failing us. So I definitely would appreciate that everyone, as I said, utilize the sanitation committee email address and just put this information down there. One, so it's documented. Two, so I can send that to the offices that it needs to get to, so we can have a paper trail. So when I go and I speak on these issues at the general board meeting, I can sit there and I can establish the times and the information that they received, and we can make sure that they address the issues that we need them to address.
Okay. What's the email? I'm new.
Sorry. Sorry, one moment.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
The email address of the sanitation committee.
Could you just put it in the chat, Mr. Hill?
Yes.
I'm sorry, just one moment. My
Chair Hill, Chair Farah, ADM Farah can put it in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
sorry, 1 minute. I'm just having a little.
Yeah, I put it in the chat right
My
now.
phone here.
So if you're looking for the sanitation email, it's in the chat right now. It's cb17sanitation@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Mr. Hill, it's Miss
Yes,
Quasi.
hi.
How
Hi.
you doing? I think that Miss Martinez and Miss Benu, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I think they made excellent points. Where we do need to have resources made to our community, like where are our sanitation police officers for our community? Why aren't they giving tickets to Church Avenue? Where are they? Why are they missing? I see them driving around, in the residential communities, but where are they in the commercial communities? They should be given tickets. I see them driving around in their cars, quite often, but where are they on Church Avenue? Where are they on those heavy trafficked areas? They should be giving those businesses tickets.
Yeah, I
Ocean
definitely.
Avenue, Church Avenue, where Flatbush Avenue, where are they? They should not be looking like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I've seen it myself. And I really think that we're definitely moving in the right direction to get these things addressed finally. I really think that based on the response that I received from the councilwoman and specifically her, the night that I did that, and how readily available her assistant was after the fact, that the response that we got, I definitely see that there's opportunity for things to change here. So it's really going to be imperative to get that information, those locations, to the email address, so that we can sit there and put it in their hands, so they can't say that they didn't get it, and leave it up to them to make sure that I don't have to sit there and do what I did again. But real quick, we have a guest appearance by our chairperson, Mr. Daly.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Chair Hill, for retaking the helm for the Sanitation Committee. I know Miss Bienvenue, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And this is the first time that I'm getting acquainted with you, but I do know Miss Squashy, and I know former board members Martinez and Tate on the committee, and we know that, you know, there was a time where we had so many members on the committee to help to forge different things on different sections of the committee: northwest, east, south, central, all of those different components of our committee. I'm so glad, Miss Bienvenue, that you and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure. I'm
You
hoping
are,
that's what
you
I
are.
heard. All right. So that hub, Church Avenue, is disgusting, right? It's almost as disgusting as the Nostrand Avenue, like Church Avenue in general is disgusting.
Mhm.
Excessive businesses, not taking care of it. Um, it's a problem, right? And we do have Councilmember Banks, Councilmember Lewis, Councilmember Mealy, who and Councilmember Joseph, who all have a part of Church Avenue
Yes.
that they all need to address, right? So you're talking about city money versus state money versus federal money. What we try to want to address is the city council money, right? Because if you know how this works, trickle down economics. The federal government sends it to the state government sends it to the city government, and city government spends it. We have to do a lot to hold them accountable. But not only them, though, is also DSNY, right? So Department of Sanitation, right? Not ticketing, not moving cars, not towing cars. I know Ms. Martinez and I have had numerous conversations about the excessive cars and the trucks and the different things. But I do propose one more thing, right? And I'm going to push back, right? Because I would like to know. And ADM Farah, can you put my email address in the chat? Because I want to know which council member or which elected official told you that it was your responsibility, because it's not your responsibility. There are agencies out there that are supposed to do their job. And if you complain to us at a community board, you complain to them, they have to move forward on it. You do 311. There's a safety issue involved. I'm going to a building, a residence. I'm jeopardizing my safety. So
Mhm.
I'm not doing that. And I feel I am actually very angry that you actually I'm hearing you saying that in a meeting. So if at the end of me, anybody on this call can give me my phone number. I think everybody that I've seen, Ms. Squashy has my phone number. Mr. Obviously Chair Hill has it. Ms. Martinez has it, or Mr. Tate. Let's find out who's having that conversation with you. Second of all, the last thing, and I don't want to speak too much, is we also have to think about, oh, I'm sorry, two things. One, we're revitalizing the block association, right? Building our community block by block. Okay. If you have a block association, or you would like to be able to form one to help to start talking about issue about beautifying our community, making our neighborhood stronger. That's something that we should all start to think about doing and working together with the sanitation, with the block association, with Department of Transportation, right? Because some of the tickets are DOT, some of the tickets are DSNY, so they don't often overlap, but they can communicate. And the last conversation would be working with our own environment, our own community to figure out within this committee to increase our membership of the committee and try to get things done by this committee, right? We don't want it to be just us complaining about things
Mhm.
and we ourselves are not taking the opportunity to make our own community better, because again, nobody cleans my house better than me, right?
Mhm.
I could use help, but I know exactly what I'm gonna get done. So we also have to do a better job of cleaning our community and our local businesses and the parks and the likes. So what are we doing as a committee that's going to help with whatever we're doing, a block cleanup day, a community cleanup day, shredding day, whatever that is, right? Whatever the committee has decided that they want to do. So
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Daly. Appreciate all of that. That was a lot of good information, and I definitely echo those sentiments. And I definitely agree that, we also have to take responsibility for ourselves. Maybe even something that needs to be done is, to go into these businesses and have a conversation. Maybe that's a part of what needs to be done. I mean, that garbage isn't getting on the floor by itself.
Mhm.
We all have to play a role in making this work. And, we definitely don't want to have our businesses, the small businesses, ticketed. But obviously, if they're not going to participate in this, then that's what's going to have to happen. But maybe a conversation, can avoid that. So that is definitely, I think, the direction that makes the most sense. Everything that we discussed here today. And I'm definitely feeling optimistic considering that we finally are getting a response from these people. And I definitely do plan to call each council person that is responsible for those particular areas. And if I have to, I'm going to call them out at the next general board meeting. And we'll take it from there.
I think
Sorry, this is Miss Quashie again. Mr. Daly, I like to challenge you. I like to
listening to,
challenge
I like
you.
challengers. Go ahead.
I like to challenge you where you set up a meeting with one of our lovely councilwomen, or two or three of them, and sit down and talk about the sanitation laws. Well, we have laws on the books that need to be updated that tie sanitation's hands, where some of the laws are outdated and some of the fines are too low and there's no accountability factor. So
Yep.
people don't care. So they pay the little $25 fine and they walk away. Or the fine never goes up. And so they keep doing the same little crime all the time. So for instance, like they dump, the fine is only $25. So if they're fined $25 all the time, they'll keep doing it. They don't care. But if they found to be, negligent and the fine goes up to $1,000, they might think about it.
So
Mhm.
I'm going to push back. I'm sorry, Chair Hill, can I have the floor for a moment in response
Well,
to Ms. Quashie?
please do.
All right, so I'm going to push back
Go
to
ahead,
you
sure.
in two ways.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the man? He's not part of this conversation, just the three women.
Oh, it don't matter. We can put the men in there too.
That's my first question.
Bring
But
everybody to the party. I don't care.
all right. So there are two kind of fines, right? There are two
Mhm.
kind of fines. Well, there's several kind of fines, right?
Yes.
There's a business fine, there's a residential fine,
Mhm.
right? And there's the dumping sign, like curbing your dog. I mean, like people not curbing their dog, not putting up those signs, right? So you have those issues. One of the problems that I had, and I wanted to add a couple of things.
Mhm.
There are a couple hubs where they have the jerk chicken spots, right? Like people walk, they buy the jerk chicken, and they don't have enough garbage bins,
Yeah.
right, to put them into the areas, right? That's one problem. The second problem is that there's certain areas where the businesses pay a cleanup agency, like that walk on the bid, right? The business industrial district, and they clean up. So I'm not sure if there is a bid, well, money's going into either a merchant association or the likes to say, hey, we need to hire 4 or 5 people per sector that we are paying for on a weekly basis. Because that's another issue that we might not have.
Mhm.
But the second pushback for you would be, what are these laws, right? What are these laws that you're referring to that are antiquated, that need to be updated? If you can let me know that, then I could follow up with that. And I'll have no issues with working with Chair Hill to get that meeting, a WebEx meeting, or even inviting them to our community sanitation committee meeting.
Okay,
Because that would be our next steps.
okay, one of them is if you see someone dumping on your property and you have a picture, they don't accept it. They only do that if you see someone doing it, if you have their license plate number.
Yeah, that's kind of a sad thing. But that's not old. That's
Yeah.
actually new.
Yeah,
That's
so
actually
we
new.
need to change that law.
That's not new.
No, I mean, when I say new in terms of the observance, like before, if you took a picture of somebody, like at one point, I think even if you see them and the police don't see them, they're not getting a ticket.
Exactly.
That was,
So we need to
yeah,
change
that's
that law. That's one of the laws we need to have changed off the books.
There's another one where all these new buildings we have in the community that have all that garbage cans in the front, they can have as long as it's not to the curb, they can't give them a summons. As long as it's against their building, that's okay. But our community looks terrible when it's piled up all outside of the buildings. Like on Brooklyn Avenue and all those places. It's terrible. New York Avenue. Terrible.
Yes, artists are not only pictures, but even if you have a video, so we have to include video in that because they don't even accept your videos.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So that has to be pictures or videos. And the thing is with the license plates, taking the license plates, it's not that they're going to give them a ticket. They will watch out. They're looking for that license plate. Which make it even a little disappointing because you could see the license plate number, but if they don't if the inspector is not there,
Yeah.
the person who reported the license plate would have to go to the hearing to identify the persons. In other words, they're putting you in the middle of it. Instead of they just giving the ticket, you have to appear in court with it, to prove that point.
And sign an
So
affidavit.
yes, exactly, which is another safety issue right there.
Yep.
Because if they know where you live and you know that they dump in front of your house, you reported it, they could come back and do anything to you or your family.
Exactly. Exactly. So those are little things that we want to have changed on the books that our council people can have done.
The
Easy.
other issue that I have that I mentioned in the note that I sent.
Hello?
Oh, hello?
Hey,
Oh,
so
sorry.
we lost you. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. If like on East 56th Street, they pick up garbage at midnight. So if you work a 4 to 12 shift, when would you put out your trash? Because you're not getting home before midnight. And you're gone before 8 p.m. So it doesn't make sense to me.
right, because you do get ticketed if you put it
Yes,
out too
people
early.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, you get ticketed. Okay, good point. Wait, before we continue, Chair Hill, I know I'm almost positive that DSNY is supposed to be at Wednesday's meeting. I'm almost positive, especially with the upcoming new distribution of bins and how much they cost and the time frame and what you need to do. They're always coming to us to tell us how we are going to be fined
Can I
more.
just say something, Rudy? I put in my note also, that was a question I had. In other cities, those bins were distributed without additional cost to homeowners. Why do we have to pay for them?
Good question, right? So, you know, honestly, I think for the October meeting, we should have DSNY at the meeting. I don't think that the general board meeting, there's so many things that's going to happen that we're not going to be able to cover a lot of these conversations. But I think utilizing our communication website. So here's a suggestion immediately as I'm thinking, Cheerio.
Okay.
Create a survey for over the next couple of days with, I know we only have one staff member right now, unfortunately. We have one staff member who's out sick and we only have one working and the other one, right? But let's try to see if we can create a survey of community needs. You send those community needs assessment survey to DSNY, invite them to the meeting along with our elected officials for next month. Right? So now, you know how the proverbial finger pointing across the aisle, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, have them all there.
Now, right. So now the not me is you is in the room.
That sounds
Right.
good.
That's what I did for having them, the eyesore at Farragut and Utica, that building, that car wash. That's how they couldn't go with you. It's that department. It's everybody was right there. What is your role? What is it that you can do? So I think reach out to your members, even if you have to do it individually as the chair, to contact everybody who are active in the committee as you push forward. Ask for more people to come out. Each one bring one, and make it. Even if we want to do a town hall, I have no problems putting it on the schedule to do a town hall sponsored by the sanitation committee around issues of sanitation within Community Board 17. And you'll be surprised that a lot of people have issues, but no more fingers pointing across the aisle at each other. But what is my onus of what needs to happen? I think that's something that would be a next step for the committee. I'm just thinking about that while we were talking about all these different issues.
That sounds good.
I mean, what do you guys think on the committee? What are your thoughts on it?
The survey will be answered by whom?
You send a survey out to the committee. Everybody who's sitting on this committee can forward the survey to other people that they know within their sphere of influence. Listen, this is important, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, right? So we want it. Let's put it to you like this. The SNY has money. They need funding, right? Who the funding come from? They come from the elected officials, right? And the government agencies, right? The government agencies, they need to be accountable to whom? To the voter. Why? Because if you're not going to vote for them, they're not going to get reelected. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Your neighbors kind of need that support because they're getting aggravated. And you know what? It's a health issue. It's a mental health issue, right? So everybody needs everybody.
There,
So
Yes.
there also needs
get everybody involved. Yes, go ahead, Ms.
there,
Martinez.
there also needs to be some community education, because like people tell me, oh, well, this is what you get when you live in a Black neighborhood. That's what I've been told. And
and,
I'm telling you,
and I can't use bad words on this air. Is this what you get when you do nothing?
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
what you
this is
get.
what you get. I mean, homeowners are being ticketed and penalized. They can't keep up with the trash. I would have to stand outside all day with a broom and a dustpan all day
All
because
day.
By the time you get inside, there's something else out there. Every morning I see all my old neighbors cleaning the street. And by the middle of the day, people come here, they buy food, they eat it, they throw the dish with the rest of it, and the fork, everything, the cup, everything is on the ground, or for the bones for us to clean up.
Yeah,
And this is what, and you, every other corner, you have somebody cooking on the street and bringing rats to eat that stuff. And I mean, this, our neighborhood, I think this, I lived in this neighborhood for 54 years. It was used to be lovely. Now it is disgusting. Every time I go somewhere and I come back and I look at it, I feel disgust.
I pay NHS every day to clean up around my house because I have a corner property. I can't do it anymore. And they come at 6:30 every day, and by 4 o'clock, it's filthy again.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, we also used to have like, parts of our community, we have strong HOAs, right? Which we don't have in our areas. I don't know whether it's against the law or not, but we don't have HOAs, right? Right. And those could be helpful. And I guess that's where the association would
No,
be healthy as well.
but we got a
They're not
lot
gonna
of
stop
people.
the trash.
But we have a lot of people that just walk by and just dump. I have someone that just came from Utica Avenue because they missed the garbage pickup and just came from the direction of Utica Avenue, took their garbage and just dumped it by my tree. You know, and I just couldn't believe it. I just checked my camera and just saw the person coming from the direction of Utica with their garbage and just dumped it and kept walking. And this is normal
Every day.
every day. So, and you would see it's, and you would think that I had a nasty area. My place is immaculate. So
But that's why people are moving from here. They're tired.
Mm-hmm. So it's you can't keep up with it. As Miss Martinez said, you can't keep up with it.
Definitely something has to be done. Something has to be done, because when I went to the office of Miss Waterman, I said, you know what? I'm not moving to Long Island. I love Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn. I want to stay right here. I own property here, but I want it to be clean.
Exactly.
Get sanitation to do their work. I pay taxes. I raise children here. I want my neighborhood to be clean. I'm not moving to Long Island. I'm not.
But it also has to be something with the mindset of the people that live here also, because we have to teach our people how to not dump. We have new people in the community. This community was not always like this.
Good point. Sorry, Ms. Kwashi. I brought that point to the council people. I said, you have a large immigrant community. You have to teach these people. Many of them are newcomers.
Yes.
How to behave in Brooklyn, in the United States. I've seen that spitting on the street have reached pandemic proportion in East Flatbush. People just walking, you walking by them, they turn around, they spit on you. But that is not acceptable. I understand many of them come from dirt road. It's part of their culture, but we are in the jungle. We have cement here. You cannot be peeing and spitting wherever you want in New York. There has to be a way to educate them. I'm an immigrant too. So after 52 years, I know how to behave. I know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. But are the politicians providing those classes to those newcomers? Because they're bringing their culture wherever they're from. It's not because they are bad people. It's wherever they're from that was acceptable. But here it's not acceptable.
But
When
everyone's not,
somebody,
but
when
everyone's
somebody
not
comes from
foreign either.
Canada,
I seen some of them are just as American as apple pie. Everybody's not foreign, they're dumps,
true, true, true.
you know? So I don't blame it on everybody being an immigrant because I have some of them living next door to me and they're just as bad.
That speeding, I've never seen that. We just had COVID. Why are so many people speeding on the street?
Hmm.
It's just unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable.
Well,
And
if
I
you
know
can
the
buy
rest.
food on
Hmm?
Utica Avenue, if you can shop on Utica Avenue for your fruits and vegetables among that trash that's all over there, I just can't understand it. And I mean, I went to Utica and Snyder the other day. We have a beautiful new library. Outside of it is swept by the sanitary. No vehicles move. There's dirt there. It's dirty. The other end
And
of
it
it are
smells.
auto places. There's a Chinese restaurant. They put out their garbage, and that food was literally on the street, so you could slip on it. I had to go in there to tell them they need to clean that sidewalk.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it smells.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, and that too.
And another thing, you know why we want to push the politicians? Because I was made to feel that, oh, if we push them too hard, they won't vote for us. What? If you cannot stand the
Most of
heat,
them don't live there, live
if you
here.
cannot stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. You don't
But
live here, I live here.
most of these business owners don't live in this community. So they don't really care.
That is true. That's Rudy. That's why I said that we need to do something on the books so that they get fined.
Yes, yes.
So
Fine
that
for
the,
the
Well,
noble
and
cause.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to just say something about what you guys are referring to here. And, I think
yes,
that if there's going to be any sort of way to address those very general issues with people in the community just not, taking care of the community, that's going to require, some sort of agency out there on the street mobilized to be able to, witness these things and address these issues. That's basically, I think, the only way that there's going to be a deterrent for that. And, I think that that's possible if we can get the funding together to have somebody out there, maybe not every day in every area, but, in some areas that need the most attention, and, we take it one area at a time, and, it's going to take some time because this isn't something that, happened overnight. But, I think that's a good step to addressing those issues. And based on what Councilwoman Farrah Lewis's representative, it's told me that they have the funding that could address that kind of issue. So I think that that is
Yeah,
definitely something to look into.
I think we don't, but you don't really need, a committee can do that without funding. You can, if you have a committee, you can, just like commerce and these other committees visit businesses, you could visit a business and let them know we're from the community board and this is what, is expected of them. Because if you don't hold them accountable and see them face to face, they don't really care about here. Where they go home, it's not looking like this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was just speaking more so about the people that are just walking around and just littering. But yeah, when it comes to those businesses, yeah, definitely. It's
Hey,
definitely a lot easier to walk into a business and have a conversation with the people that run the establishment. That's for sure. But once again, that's all going to come back to us being able to, communicate those locations, those particular areas, those businesses, and, speaking to them and having the councils, the chair people from, I mean, I'm sorry, the council people for those districts do what they're supposed to do. And I think
yes.
that the combination of all those things will have a tremendous impact on these issues.
yeah. But going back to some of the points that Ms. Martinez and Mr. Tate brought up, like where they're dumping, how are you going to clean that up? because I have this rule. If you're a sanitation person in your truck, you're driving past it, why don't you pick it up? You know,
I'm sorry. Mhm.
if you're a sanitation truck and you're on the route, okay, why don't you pick it up?
Mhm.
It's basic.
That's definitely a good question. I think that, the next steps that we should definitely look into is getting these questions answered. Let's get
Yeah.
that, survey together
Yeah.
and, put their feet to the fire at the next meeting. I think that, we
A
could
truck,
definitely do
a
that.
truck
That's
in this
not difficult.
community, a truck in this community should not be driving past garbage.
Definitely
Yes,
not.
definitely. And, and if someone is caught doing that, there should be some sort of discipline. There should
Yes.
Yeah.
be someone getting written
Yes.
up, and that should be public knowledge for us to know that they are holding these people accountable.
Yes.
If you see, if it's a garbage pickup day, you should not be driving past a dump unless it's excessive. When you need, then the supervisor drives past a dumping, he should be on the radio calling for a truck to come get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same way they're ready to ticket us, for those
Exactly.
things, they should definitely be holding their workers accountable for doing the same
Mm-hmm.
thing.
No, the supervisors, because if he sees it, if he's driving past it in his little car, he should be calling a truck to come get it.
Yeah, definitely.
I hold the supervisors accountable.
So I think that's what we should do at our next meeting. I think that should be among the next steps that we take advantage of, is have these questions ready to go and put them on the spot to answer those issues and discuss what they're going to do to address that, and have
Yeah,
our
but
council members do the same.
Whoever you invite, please don't invite anybody from the local 17. You have to get someone above them.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to
Miss,
waste time with the low levels. They'll have no power and can't do anything anyway.
well, the representative from council, Lewis's office, suggested a meeting with the chief of sanitation. So, or to even have that person be at one of our meetings. So that's something that we definitely talked about, and I'm sure that, that would be a huge plus if we're able to get that done. So
The chief or the commissioner?
Yeah.
I believe he said the chief. I'm not sure if he said the commissioner. I don't know if he went that far.
But they changed very quickly. Like the turnover here is great. By the time you meet someone and you get their card and you interact with them and you get a few things done, they're no longer there. So I find that's a problem. I don't know if it's system wide or it's just this district, but they're always no longer there.
I think there's a difference between sometimes the big boss, the appointed position is not the person you want. Sometimes there's the one right below that that's not appointed. That's actually the person's job. Like for example, when you do parks, the Brooklyn commissioner is Marty Mayer, right? He's been working for parks for 40 years. He's not
Mhm.
really an appointed person. That's his job, right? I mean, he does need to go above him, but speaking to him is like speaking to the next level. So that's one thing. So maybe the bar commissioner, somebody who's above Monique and Teresa.
Okay.
Yes, they have one in Williamsburg. But I don't know if he's still there either. But he came when we had our walkthrough, and it seemed to get things done through him. But I don't think that he's actually in that position anymore.
Mm.
Well, I think that as long as we're able to speak with someone that is directly connected to whoever that person may or may not be, as they change in and out of that position, that can keep whoever does show up in that position in the loop of what that person that was there previously was working on or what needs to be addressed, then I think that should be sufficient.
Yeah. But we have to be consistent.
Yeah, that's the truth.
The other
Can't
thing I'd
let
like to remind you about is DEP is actually part of this committee as well. And we
Yeah.
have not really addressed DEP, and there are a lot of DEP issues as well.
Yes, because that catch basin over there by
Yeah.
the school on Albany has a stench that won't quit, and I'm surprised no one has called up on it.
And I don't know that our catch basins have been cleaned in a very long time. It used to be done periodically.
But now, unless you call and put a 311
Yeah.
ticket in, they will not do anything about it.
And I just put a complaint in about the one next to my house because I see a little hole on the side of it, which is going to turn into a big thing very shortly.
Well, if you could put those locations in an email, please, and send it to the sanitation committee's email, appreciate it. I definitely want to make sure that we make these people in these elected positions work.
Yes.
So I'm very, very excited to get this information over to them, all of them, and make them do what they're supposed to do.
I agree. And the reason it's Carol Bienvenue again. The reason I say we have to be consistent because I studied this over the summer. And my God, did I see a major, major, major improvement from all the offices. They got together and they really made a major difference. I could see it. But now it's back to square one. It's not consistent. And I still live here.
Welcome to our world.
No, this is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Well, I think that getting them all to work together is definitely one of the steps that I would like to accomplish in the very near future. And, we have our general board meetings, once a month. So if there's any slacking that we see from one meeting to the next, there's an opportunity to make sure that they know that they have to keep up with what they're doing.
It's coming up this Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. This Wednesday at Downstate.
That's right.
I'm gonna be
So
there.
I'll be there too. And I definitely plan to have quite a bit to say. And I'm going to be calling out a lot of other, these council members. And we're going to shake this tree and see what we can get going here.
But I've been on this committee for too many years to count. And we always had some sanitation representative address us at the meeting at this level, not at the board level where the majority, because find a lot of residents on committee meetings where you're not going to see them at board meetings. And you got a lot more done that way. And I think maybe you should think about having them make more frequent appearances at these meetings so that they can hear firsthand from residents exactly what the issues are and where they are.
So you're referring to the committee meetings, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'll definitely have a conversation with them about that. Just getting them to the general board meeting has been, they've been there, but, they've had complaints or made issues with the fact that it's after hours for them at this time for them they'd have to get approved for overtime or something like that to be able to do it. But I'll have that conversation with them and see what we can do.
Well, they always
think-
came to this committee meeting, and DEP also always
Also,
came to
yes.
this meeting.
Yeah, what was
not
that
the
lady's
board.
name? Hazel, Dolores, is that her name?
No, oh my God, what, Denise Hubbard?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hubbard.
Denise. That's it. Denise Hubbard. Yeah, she always made
Yeah.
a point.
Yeah,
But I think I don't know if it was Miss Martinez that brought up the point to you, Chair Hill, but know that if you have the uppers telling the other white shirts that they need to come to the meeting, they're going to come. Period.
All right.
So, and I do,
sounds good to me.
and I 100% agree. when they come to the general board meeting, it's 3 to 5 minutes of conversation at most, with maybe 2 or 3 questions, right? When they come to the committee meeting, it's a half an hour or more of conversation, so you get more done. So the general board meeting, and I agree with Ms. Martinez, is not the place where you're gonna get quick answers.
Right.
At
Mhm.
the committee meeting,
Yes.
you're gonna get more. I have to listen to you. I really got to sit here and hear this. Just like we're all sitting here and going, "Oh my God, they got here to hear the same thing,"
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
I
I
can't
agree.
allow them to speak for half an hour at the general board meeting.
Is
Yeah,
it because that's where the
additionally,
politicians are? So is it because that's where the politicians are present? That's why we feel it's best that we invite them at that meeting because the
No, what
politicians.
happens is at the general, I'm the chair of the board, right? So I have to chair that meeting.
Mhm.
The general board meeting is long enough.
Okay.
So
yeah,
unless we have a special project or special thing that they have to discuss, the Q&A piece, I limit it to and I'm gonna be even more stringent about that and limit it to 3 to 5, 3 questions, maybe tops. Each
Mhm.
person's only gonna get an opportunity to speak for like 5 minutes at most, including questions.
Okay.
When you're at the committee level, you want to just, like, for you who are on your block over there, you just don't want to hear from sanitation. You want to hear from public safety. You want to hear from transportation. You want to hear from, and all of those committees have to present.
Mhm.
And then what's going on with the police and going on with the other elected officials, what's going on with the money, what's going on, all of those different things are part of the conversation, not just sanitation. That's why I can't do it.
yeah.
Mr.
Additionally,
Tate was saying something.
yes, additionally, right now, I see it's only you and Mr. Hill that are board members in this meeting. And at the general board meeting, only board members are allowed to ask questions. So if they come to if the community comes to the board meeting, fine, they could hear, but they can't ask the question. So it's best that the sanitation come to the committee meeting so the community people could ask the question that they want to ask. Follow me?
Yeah, that sounds like a
Hold on, let me
fair.
just address that. Let me just address that. The committee, the board, the community members cannot vote, but they're limited to like if they're going to give a testimony, it's a little bit different from me asking a question back and forth. So there is some leeway to ask a question, but there's not enough. And I think that's what Mr. Tate is addressing.
Well,
Committee,
I've heard a community member told if you're not a board member,
no,
you
not
can't do it.
just to vote when it comes to a
No,
voting matter.
no questions with questions.
Okay, okay. I'm if anytime that happens, Mr. Tate, please make me know that.
Okay.
Because then it varies from why they cannot why they cannot. Like when it comes to voting, it's the board. When it comes to
Right. I
general
agree,
public,
and properly
yeah.
so.
Okay,
That's true.
all right. So it's a little bit different on each, but sometimes maybe there's an overlap. But again, we're all saying the same thing. Let's get them to the committee so we could have them have the conversation, address those issues. And I think what Chair Hill alluded to is let's start with the survey so we know what we're asking them and maybe send them the questions beforehand. And I've done that, right? I sent them the question so they know what they're coming in to address.
Okay.
So that would help as well because they have to do some homework. I did that
Can
with
I
transportation. Yes.
Can I suggest that I think that if we're going to like speak to store businesses, maybe we should do like single out some certain areas that are really, really terrible and take photos and be clear on the locations, the streets they're between, and ask them to, and so that when we present our issues, we have a lot of facts to back them up. And maybe those are the places we would like to visit as board, as committee members. And the other comment I have is that there are 50 board members, and I don't see any of them on this committee. It should have plenty of them. You don't have that many committees anymore,
Mm-hmm.
since they're the ones that are speaking and voting on issues that pertain to all of us.
Do you really want me to answer that? Or
No.
no? Okay, good. I could give. All the board members are volunteers, right? And they go as
So-
long as they're on one committee,
Oh,
right? As long as they're on one committee, as long as they're on one committee, they fulfill the city charter.
I thought it was two.
The city charter. City charter.
Oh, okay. So all 50 of them are on another committee?
Well, I'm gonna have to. We have new board members. I'm gonna have to assess. I'm gonna remind them on Wednesday that they must be part of a committee, preferably two, but they must be part of one, and attendance will be taken, and it could affect their membership. That's all I can. And all I can say. Notice my key words, right? It
Mhm.
can affect their membership,
Mm-hmm.
right? I cannot remove a board member without just cause. So you being on one committee, it's not grounds for removal. Lack of attendance to a committee can be grounds for removal.
I'm not worried about removal as much as I'm worried about I don't, because see, when you volunteer doesn't mean that you do nothing.
Yeah, but
You're just
again,
not getting paid.
no, but Miss Martinez, I'm 100% agreeing with you. But the problem is, remember, this, and I don't want to move the meeting to what it's not, right? But it's, if somebody's told that you need to be involved because you're not here for your good looks, right? Right? Some people think they're there for their good looks, right? Like it's a resume piece, right? And not realize that, yes, you're right. If you're volunteering, there's work that's involved. Okay. And I must shout out Mr. Tate, in this meeting, and yourself, Mr. Martinez, who are board members, and I remember you being part of Block Association. You were part of
I'm on
youth
5
and
committees.
education. Yes. And I remember that. Right. So, yeah, we're missing the Hazel Fosters of the world and all those different things,
Yeah.
so I will remind them, I'll reiterate it, right? Because Mr. Hill needs a co-chair, and you know what? You can only be a co-chair if you're a board member, and there's none. So that makes, I would like all committees to have a co-chair, because now I've minimized the amount of committees. So, and I'm still working on minimizing the committees. So there you go.
Okay.
You have a mouth, Miss Martinez, when you come to a meeting. Open it.
You don't
Tell
let me
them
speak.
let you speak. You raise your hand. At
You
community
don't let us
session,
speak at the board or at the board
I let
meetings.
you speak. Don't tell me I don't let you speak. I'm the
Okay,
chair.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
You better hold me to it. To have a whole community session that you can get up and speak. Right? And not only that, but at other parts you could speak to. And you could speak to an issue. Like, for example, you could set them up right now. When Chair Hill gets up to speak, know that you're a committee member come to speak on behalf of the committee. And you could say that. And you could question me, Chair Daly. As part of the bylaws, you could appoint people to committees. Question me. I don't care. I need to be accountable too, right? I'm not above anybody else. Correct? So there you go. So hold me to it.
Good.
Well, this seems like it was a very fruitful meeting tonight. Had a lot of conversations. This was very good, very good. Feeling real good about what's going to be coming in the near future.
Me too.
Oh, yes, a question. And I guess it's more directly to Ms. Martinez. Um, in the letter that you sent to Mr. Hill, okay, it seems like you have quite a few things in there. Is that something that, is there something in there that would prevent him from sharing it with the committee? So we are aware of all these things that are happening.
I only sent the letter really because I wasn't sure I was going to be at this meeting tonight. Because it was an IBX meeting I had planned to attend, but
Oh,
then I
that's right. Yeah,
changed
yeah.
my mind. And only what I will share, I will tell you some of what it said, really, because what it said is that the issue, that I would not be, wasn't sure I'd be able to be here. My number one was the new garbage cans. I wanted to know why we're being forced to pay for them when in
Right.
other cities,
Mhm.
homeowners are provided with cans free of charge. And
Yeah.
then the other issue is if they have to be purchased online, what assistance will there be for senior residents who do not have computers?
Yeah.
That was one.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have residents here who are not able to navigate a computer. And
Yeah.
then we have number two, I have the rules for trash setting out, which is I explained earlier. Depending on your hours. And I see another group is asking for dispensation based on religion. So I think everyone should get some sort of dispensation. And the third thing was the street sweeping has been inconsistent in the entire community with no enforcement. And I will address the areas that I am most familiar with, and then I list them. Clarendon to King Road, Kings Highway to Ralph, New York Avenue, Farragut and Glenwood, Utica between Snyder and Tilden, East 57 between Clarendon Road and Avenue D, and Avenue D and East 56 and Avenue D and East 50, between East 56 to 57 is supposed to have night cleaning, which rarely occurs, and there was little to no enforcement. That's basically what it
Yeah.
said. And
No,
I included
yeah.
some photos.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that. But I was more concerned with the photos that you sent regarding different locations with the garbage. For instance, I don't know if because tomorrow I plan to walk out and take pictures of different other areas, like right over there by Kings Highway in that area. But if you had already sent that one,
I sent pictures of Farragut between Kings Highway and Utica in a
okay.
video. I sent
Uh,
those, and I sent some. I think I think that was the main photo that I sent. I
you
didn't
send
send
you
some of the other places.
You saying Utica on
The
Utica?
strip there between Utica to Kings Highway. Took pictures and made a video of that. They picked up some of the trash from there,
Mhm.
the pan site, but they have the rest of the trash was still there, and there's a
Yeah,
boat there.
yeah, both for sale.
Yeah.
Yes, but you didn't send anything between Utica and Utica between Farragut and Glenwood, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
The Utica, I sent some pictures previously to Sanitation
yeah,
about Utica between Tilden, Snyder and Tilden, because I went to something there and because I
yeah,
know someone that owns a piece of property there and you can walk on the sidewalk. There's cars all over the sidewalk.
yeah.
There was garbage. There's cars on the sidewalk in the bus stop. So I don't know where you would stand to wait for the bus. But
Mhm.
after I sent that complaint, couple of days later, the person sent me a photo of a whole lot of sanitation and police, and they were towing away the vehicles. So
Uh,
now I think that has calmed down a little bit, but there's no enforcement, and the alternate side cleaning is non-existent.
no, I agree. I agree. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Mhm.
Okay. Oh,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is approaching 9 o'clock, and we definitely covered a lot in tonight's meeting. I hope you guys all feel as I do, energized and enthusiastic about the work that we're going to get done. And definitely looking forward to cleaning up these streets.
Thank you.
Before the winter.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely before the winter. I don't believe that we did a roll call.
No.
All right, I guess we should do that. So I guess we'll start with Ms. Martinez. Let me get this go around.
Hazel Martinez, committee member.
Vanessa Quashi, committee member.
George State Committee member.
Carol Bienvenue, committee member.
I'm Roderick Daly, ex officio member, Community Board 17 chair.
Was there any old business that we needed to address? I do believe that we
And who
covered.
are you, sir?
Oh,
are you,
I'm
sir?
sorry. Sanitation Committee Chair Michael Hill. I do believe that we covered quite a bit. I don't believe that there's anything left for us to go over tonight. If that is to everyone's satisfaction, I'd like to put a motion to adjourn our meeting.
May I say a positive thing that happened in the summer? For
Yes.
those, it may something that we have been fighting about for the last almost 2 years, and it finally got resolved. I don't know if you remember, yeah. If anyone is aware, that situation with the water that was by the Albany and Glenwood Road that Leonie and I had been fighting, and that I slipped over there. They
Right.
finally corrected it. I think it was in August. They finally corrected the situation, and it's a big difference. The water, they repaved part of the street, and they fixed the sidewalk. So now coming off the bus, you don't have to step into a puddle of water. So that's something that we were fighting for, and I'm glad that it was finally done. Okay. So those who are familiar with the situation, that situation is no longer here.
Great.
Yeah, I do remember that conversation that we've had a few times, and definitely glad that that's been addressed finally. Was there anyone else? All right. Anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Hazel Martinez, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 8:55 p.m.
I
George
second.
State second.
All right, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you everyone for your participation. Please use that email. Please send over that information.